afternoon, McLean. I'm Karina.
And I'm Joe. I heard you went to the play last night, Karina. How was it?
I did. That's actually our very first story, so let's get right into it. Last night was opening night for Theatre McLean's production of Mr. Burns, a post-electric play. The show was truly one of a kind. But before I say any more, let's check out this video. Last night, Theatre McLean premiered Mr. Burns, a post-electric play that looks at what would happen to pop culture after the apocalypse. The musical was completely sold out and was a roaring success.
Mr. Burns' post-electric play is a story about stories. It's a giant game of telephone and what happens to pop culture, what happens to stories as they move and progress through the years. So the show is done in a 3-act format where the first act is in the near future and a group of survivors are talking about The Simpsons. Then in the next act, it goes 7 years later, and what happens to that story of The Simpsons? How does it transform? How does it evolve within 7 years? And then the third act is 75 years later. What happens to that episode of Simpsons?
I thought tonight went amazing, especially for an opening night of a show that is completely out of the ordinary. The entire cast and crew really put their all into it, and it showed. Today's audience was amazing. They were laughing, they were clapping. It was incredible.
Theatre McLean created a first-of-its-kind show with 3 different sets and an audience experience that brought them right into the action, literally.
I wanted to change the location every single time because I wanted the audience to feel that change. And the first 2 acts should feel claustrophobic. It should feel like we're telling a campfire story. It should feel like we are peering into the lives of these 6 survivors. And then Act 3, those survivor stories are now enlarged into a greater scale.
It was a lot of work and a lot to manage. We had to transition each set from Act 1 to 2 in only 5 minutes, and then Act 2 to 3 in only 10 minutes. And having the set in the audience was actually a lot harder to build.
I just love to see the look on the audience's face when the curtain opens, and that's not what they're expecting.
The play was loosely based on The Simpsons, and the lovable characters of the classic sitcom added a new layer to the show.
I remember watching The Simpsons during commercial breaks for baseball with my dad. So we just switched channels back and forth. And I'd always secretly wish that we forget the baseball was on so we could watch more Simpsons.
Knowing The Simpsons and understanding, the common tropes, seeing how this show plays off of those tropes and plays off of the commonly known characters, it really very much adds the experience both as an audience member and as a performer.
Taking the complex sets and story in stride, the Mr. Burns cast brought their best to the performances and revealed the true purpose of art, the individual experience.
I usually play very serious villains, and this role is serious, but there's a level of manic and crazy that is new for me as an actor.
I've never experienced the apocalypse, so really getting into the mindset of the world is ending, what are we going to do, that was a really big challenge for me, and also balancing the joy of The Simpsons and the reality of the apocalypse during the first act was really hard to manage.
At the end of the day, art is not a linear thing. Art is subjective. It is something that you are going to experience at an individual level, and I think that's what Burns is about, what this play is about, is to experience art at that individual level.
This has been Karina Bott reporting for WMHS News.
Wow, that looks incredible. I can't believe they flipped the set like that. That must have been a special show. There will be another show tonight at 7 p.m. and one at 2 p.m. Don't miss it. If you're looking to get involved in your own tight-knit community to produce works of art, try your hand as a McLean Community Center youth ambassador. The McLean Community Center is looking for McLean teens who want to lend their voice to community board. The ambassador would serve as a student representative and be responsible for promoting community programs. Any McLean student who is a resident from Dranesville Small District 1A can apply by this Friday with the link below. Now let's go to Gabe with sports.
What's up, McLean? I'm very eager to share this news. It's a busy weekend for girls basketball. Tonight, the girls' freshman, JV, and varsity basketball teams play away at Lake Braddock High School. Unfortunately, the girls' freshman team doesn't get to rest much as tomorrow they play Madison High School away. On Monday, the girls' JV and varsity basketball teams play Potomac High School here at home. That's all for sports this week. Good luck, McLean, and back to you, Karina.
Thanks, Gabe. How do you feel about gladiator fights, Highlanders? The Latin Club will be holding their annual gladiator battles today after school in Mod 2. If you're ready to channel your inner gladiator, pool noodles included, join them today after school in Mod 2. The gladiator champion will win prizes and, of course, undeniable bragging rights.
The deadline to withdraw from a class without the class appearing on your transcript is next Monday, November 20th. After this time, a withdrawal grade of pass or fail will show up on your transcript. See your counselor as soon as possible if you're planning on changing your schedule.
Financial Aid Night is coming up in the auditorium next Tuesday, November 28th at 6:30 p.m. You can hear from Nova's Financial Aid Director on FAFSA, Merit Scholarships, the CSS profile, and more. It is open to all McLean High School families. Now to Connor with This Day in History.
What's up, McLean? It's Connor bringing you This Day in History. Let's take a look at some notable events that occurred on November 17th over the years. In 1869, the Suez Canal was completed after 10 years of construction. In 1973, President Richard Nixon held a press conference to address the Watergate controversy. He boldly claimed, "I am not a crook." 2 James Bond films were released on this day in history, GoldenEye in 1995 and Casino Royale in 2006. That's all for This Day in History. Another day, another victory for the OGs. Back to you, anchors.
Thanks, Connor. Well, we all know how the Watergate story plays out. It's no mystery today. Speaking of mystery, the Queen of Mystery is back at McLean. The MHS Book Club is reading ABC Murders by Agatha Christie for this month's read. Join them for the discussion on Wednesday, December 6th.
Do you pride yourself on your big ideas? Do you want to make a difference in the world? The Fairfax Area 50+ Technology Conference is issuing a challenge to all high school students to develop an innovative device or app that will have a positive impact in the lives of older adults and adults with disabilities. Initial project proposals are due Friday, December 15th. Cash prizes will be awarded. Check out Dr. Riley's Monday message for more information about how to submit your proposal. Now to Colin with the weather.
Hey McLean, it's Colin with your weather. Today we have some clouds with highs in the 60s and lows in the 30s. On Saturday, we'll have some clouds again with highs in the 50s and lows in the 30s. And on Sunday, we'll finally have those clouds clearing up with highs in the 60s and lows in the 30s. On Monday, we're going to have about the same weather that we have been having. And on Tuesday, we'll be getting some rain finally with highs in the 50s and lows in the high 40s. That's all for your weather. Now back to you, anchors.
Thanks, Colin. Looks like we'll have a sunny weekend. That's a wrap for today's show. You can submit your announcements at the link below.
And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and Instagram for more updates and announcements.
Have a flirtatious Friday, McLean.